What is going on, RotoGrinders? We're live. RG today. Week 6 NFL. Also have some playoff baseball tonight. NHL is back for those of you who are either Canadian or indulge in hockey. My Red Wings got absolutely blown out last night, 5-1 against the Canadians. It's kind of fun for me to watch hockey for the first 2 weeks until NBA gets here. Then I don't even know it exists until playoffs come around. You got to be into hockey, right? As a Bruins guy.
I was just watching. I usually hate the Bruins and Celtics, but I have to kind of root for them this year from a business perspective. It makes sense. So
yeah,
they're 2-0. The Bees. I was just watching a breakdown of their game last night, and their team is not good, but they're 2-0. So we can only hope for more wins.
Yeah, would they beat Washington the other night?
The Caps, and they beat the Blackhawks. Bedard had a point.
Okay. Yeah, the extent of my NHL knowledge is either guys I can remember from when I used to play NHL, like the video game, because that was like one of the more fun sport games.
I think that's the best sports video game that there is.
That and FIFA. I never really. I was never a big soccer guy, but
right?
FIFA was always super fun.
Really good.
Yeah. So if I can remember the names from those days, which is probably at least a few years ago now, or Wings guys, or if it's guys that are in our prop model package at Scores and Odds, which I know it's kind of like a shameless plug there, but very legit. Seriously, it's it is printing money. It honestly is super good. The shots on goal and the block shots, props on opening night. I had a pretty successful night just blindly tailing those. So I would highly recommend, especially if anybody wants a reason to sweat hockey, I would highly recommend checking out those plays there. But
I know your prop stuff is probably very good. I know our team stuff is, from what everyone says, is fantastic. I don't want to give Tim any credit for anything, but from what everyone tells me, sharp guy, especially in the NHL streets, and RG projections are really good for hockey. So
from my understanding, I think it's Tim and Dane that do the NHL stuff, and obviously Dane's a Canadian, so he's got to be in tune to that. Yeah, and they absolutely crush it. It's been, I think, 2 years now, 2 NHL seasons since I've started working here, and they've just crushed it every single season. So I would highly recommend that. And for someone who is super into props, like in these big sports like basketball and football, these are hard props to beat. NHL, from what my understanding, they don't get as much attention from the books, so it's a pretty soft market, kind of similar to like college props and stuff like that. And like if you get into like these niche sports like soccer and stuff, so they have a good thing going over there. So I highly recommend that. Don Easy in the chat saying what's up. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to talk some football eventually, but I wanted to.
Let's let people kind of get in here though, because everyone thought we were starting at 12, and
yeah.
Don Easy the only person currently watching right now, or do we have more guys in here? Anyone?
No, we got some more people in there. Hopefully they'll.
I was getting killed by chat last night.
Oh yeah, for what?
Like Jackson Dart and Scatterbro over Hurts. Well, Dart was my favorite captain, then Hurts, then Scatterbro, then Saquon. I basically faded Saquon in the flex, and I'm getting killed in chat, like absolutely killed in chat. And I just wanted to say, chat, I don't know what to say, actually. Like,
you deserve your flowers.
But so it didn't work out for me, because when I uploaded my lineups for my MME set, I by accidentally uploaded my high stakes entries. My high stakes entries were good, but they hit my MME set. So I didn't get my Dart 24% exposure. I didn't get my Seattle exposure, and I was absolutely pissed when I seen it this morning. So I was like, why are my MME teams doing better when I have this much Scatabo and Dart? And then I just didn't have it when I looked this morning, and I wasn't really happy about that. Yeah. High stakes stuff was good, though.
Well, hopefully the people who are
I needed that Hyatt catch for $60K.
Oh, yeah.
He drops it.
Yeah, he's been known to do that a time or two. So hopefully the people who were giving you shit in chat last night get in here and give you your flowers.
That's what I want. I'm waiting for Alex the Great or something his name is in chat.
Yeah, Alexander the Great, yeah.
And tell me that I was wrong. I just can't wait till I see that username. A couple others too.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely I mean that's a good call. I think yeah, Saquon, man, they got to get him going because that's been frustrating from even just a value.
That team's this implosion has been coming.
Yeah, it is.
I've been waiting for this implosion to come, and it's coming. And they're what? They won 20 of their 20-2 prior to last night.
Yeah,
this implosion is coming because there's too many egos and too many personalities, and that kind of situation just doesn't work. And I don't think Jalen Hurts can manage it. I just don't think he has the ability to deal with personalities like that and his own ego. And Saquon's probably the only one in that offense without an ego, and he's the best player. So it's like,
I was
Saquon probably doesn't care if he gets the ball or not. Like, he's going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah. He probably doesn't care.
Yeah, I was laughing hearing like the reports of AJ Brown and Devonta Smith getting like upset about targets and stuff after the Denver game, because they obviously were talking about it before then, but then even after the Denver game, they're talking about it again. I'm like, guys, look at the box score. Saquon had 6 carries and a loss. Like he's pretty much carried that offense last year. He had one of the most dominant seasons of our generation, especially from a running back. So if anyone has a right to be upset, it's him. But I think
the guy who ruins it all is Jalen Hurts, because like he's obviously the worst of the 4, or like maybe he's a better football player than Devonta Smith. I don't really know. I feel like he's just carried by Saquon, this offensive line, the receivers. He's basically has everything around him, right? I was watching this YouTube video the other day where they said quarterback's the most overrated position in sports, because you really don't have to. It's a hot take, but the argument that he made for it was kind of true. Like, obviously he's going to take every data point that fits his narrative.
Yeah.
I don't believe it, but I think in some cases, like, you look at that team and it's like, I don't know. Like, don't call the tush push on the 1-3. Like, if you're just going to keep giving yourself touchdowns and you know your receivers are upset and want the ball, throw a slant to AJ Brown on the goal line instead of like taking the tush push 4 times from the 3-yard line. Get them involved, because who really cares? Just keep them happy. You don't need to call your own number. You don't need to be the guy. You know what I mean? Like, but if the smart guy in that situation doesn't call his own number, he gets his guys involved and lets them run the show, you know?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I mean, I agree. I think Jalen Hurts is definitely he's a benefactor of the system. I think obviously if he was a bad quarterback, it wouldn't work out for Philly. They wouldn't have won a Super Bowl last year. I definitely think him having a great offensive line, maybe the best running back of our generation behind him, 2 great receivers, a good tight end, all that really helps. But the biggest thing for me this year compared to last year is the play calling. It is just abysmal. Like I don't understand when you hear guys like Lane Johnson last night saying, "Oh, we have the same offense as last year." Jason Kelsey's been on his podcast and on the Monday Night Football stuff. Oh yeah, they're doing the same stuff. They are not doing the same stuff. That offense, you had an offensive coordinator last year who left, and then you have a guy who was there the last 2 or 3 years behind Kellen Moore, and you can't just like slide in and call the same plays. That I don't understand. I mean, obviously, I don't know even half of what it takes to call a football game.
It does look like they're playing more conservative. I will say this though. Like, I don't think Jalen Hurts is a bad quarterback. I think he's an above average QB. I think the biggest, you have to, from the quarterback position, you need to be a great distributor.
Yeah.
And that's like his weakest asset, right? Like, I feel like he doesn't distribute the ball great.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially because like, the offense really is,
and that kind of hurts them the most.
It's still pretty condensed too. Like when you think about like the biggest names at quarterback, like Brady, Peyton Manning. Like I think of Peyton Manning when he was on the Broncos and he was able to get the ball to Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, Wes Welker, Eric Decker. They had no Sean Moreno. Like he was able to distribute like crazy. Obviously, it helps when you score like 70 touchdowns in a year. Like that's going to help distribute. But he only has 2 guys to get the ball to through the air, right? Obviously, you can kind of throw Saquon in that mix as well. But like if Dallas Goedert isn't getting going and you have AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, like Dallas Goedert can't really say anything, you know.
Goddard looked good last night. He was getting going.
Yeah.
He was doing it's all hurts. It's if they had a QB who was a statue there, and if they had like a Mac Jones type, I think the results were the same. I know that's crazy to say, like not saying, well, I don't know. Mac Jones is probably a product of Kyle Shanahan. But what I'm saying is if
I don't know, Mac Jones looked pretty good in Jacksonville last year.
They wouldn't have these issues. Like they're just so run heavy because his biggest strength is his legs, and so is Saquon's. And then you have 2 wide receivers that probably want to get their numbers too. And obviously he's not the distributor of the football to this team that not that they need, like they won a Super Bowl last year, but he's not the distributor. He's not going to be able to distribute the football to them in the ways that they want. So
yeah, that's understandable. We looks like we have a fantasy football question from John. Trade Mahomes and Brees.
So I think this is what we should do with the food. If you want this answered correctly, well, Kyle's going to answer it anyways, but Kirk D's a minute before lock on like 5 to 10 minutes. His Twitter name is Kirk D's. You send him this DM and ask him this question 10 minutes before 1 o'clock on Sunday. But Kyle can answer it now. So
well, yeah, because Kirk only answers questions during that time. So yeah, that's definitely the best time to hit him up.
He's the best person to ask these questions.
Yeah, and he always answers super quick. So if he doesn't get back to you right away, send him another message because that means he didn't see it. So yeah make sure you double down or even triple down because that's how you know he'll get back to you.
He'll definitely answer it during that time.
Yeah, I mean if you want, we can just give you his phone number too. You can call him during that time. That would probably be even more efficient. Yeah. But Mahomes and Brees to receive Lamar, Dobbins, and Daniel Jones. For me, I'm holding tight. I'll take Mahomes and Brees. I think Brees over Dobbins is enough of a gap. Obviously, Lamar when he's back will be better than Mahomes, but Mahomes is I think he's going to be a different beast this year in terms of fantasy. I know last year was really bad, but they're throwing more. They're throwing amongst the most in the league. He's running more because they don't have any running backs. Rashee Rice is coming back next week. Xavier Worthy's back. He looks healthy. I know he missed practice yesterday, but at least looks healthier. Offense looks more dynamic. I don't think Lamar over Mahomes is that much of a gap this year, so I'm holding tight. I'll stick with Brees Hall.
I'm with whatever he said. I feel like he knows what he's talking about. You don't want my analysis on this anyways.
Well, I appreciate that, Bob. Yeah, you blindly backing me makes me feel good. We got Noto in the chat. Noto is here. No golf right now going on, but they'll be back on later tonight because they're playing in Japan. Bobby, do any golf watching this week?
I don't. If I did, and if I was playing PGA DFS, the first person I would go to is Derek Farnsworth.
As you should.
Every time.
As you should.
Best there is.
100%. Could not agree with that more. I got to do a show with him this week, and it's always fun to talk golf with Noto. So shout out Noto. Hopefully your golf lineups are treating you well. All right, you want to talk some football now or what?
Yeah, we can talk some football for sure.
Cool. Let's do it. All right, so what we're going to do, similar to last time Bobby was on the show, we're going to talk about some stacks, and then we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to break down the chalk by each position and kind of decipher good chalk, talk about why they're chalk, and then that will lead us into our plays. So let's talk about some of our favorite stacks for the week. Do you have a team or a couple teams sticking out to you as some of your favorite stacks of the week?
This is like a first look for me, but Chargers versus Miami. Give me all the Chargers.
Yeah.
25-point team total. I love Herbert. He's not my favorite QB of the slate. He's probably my second. I wonder if he's likely to chalk too. So he's probably a little chalky. But definitely interested in the Chargers. I think Keenan Allen and Ladd are great plays this week. Like, I want to be overweight in some capacity. In terms of the running back situation, not really getting to much Hampton in current projections. It's mainly Keenan and McConkey and Herbert. Quentin Johnson you could throw in there too. 5,900 for Clinton. I think that's pretty good. I would prefer McConkey and Keenan. The second touchdown last week from McConkey on the punt return was insane. I don't know if you caught that, but then they called it back, and I wasn't too happy with that because I was overrating McConkey. I will say this. I would imagine more people are going to own – I could be wrong about this, but I would imagine more people are going to own McConkey and Keenan. The good differentiator would probably be the guy – Quentin Johnson, who could obviously take the top off of defense at any point, and he's proving that week in and week out this year for 200 more than those guys. So I'm all over the Chargers. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think the only bad thing about the Chargers is that I do think they will be popular. I think this is just like one of those perfect storm scenarios, right? You get an elite matchup against a Miami defense that obviously a lot of people have been talking about coming into the year, where they lost like 4 or 5 of their starters in the secondary coming into the year. That's played out on the field too. They've been a bottom 2 defensive unit against the pass. And now you get a spot here for the Chargers with they lost Najee, Hampton's on the IR, so they're down to Kamani Vidal, who got cut in preseason, obviously re-signed. Hassan Haskins, who is arguably the most inefficient running back I've ever seen in a NFL database. I think over the last 2 or 3 preseasons, he averaged less than 2.5 yards per carry in the preseason, which I thought was quite hilarious. Chargers already top 2 in neutral pass rate. I mean, why would they run the ball now? They have no reason to run the ball this week. I think it is a smash spot for Justin Herbert going into Miami. They've had a couple of down games offensively, obviously lost back-to-back games. So I think they'll try to bounce back in a big way. So, I think this offense is fantastic. I think from an ownership perspective for the receivers, we talked about it last week with me and Grant on the show. We were like, just have a tiebreaker for ownership, right? Like for these guys. So for right now, QJ, Keenan Allen are projecting for more popularity. I do agree. I think Lab McConkey will get up there in terms of his ownership. And maybe even overtake QJ because QJ had a bad game last week. But I'll play 2 of those 3 with Herbert. Fantastic option. My personal 2 favorites would be Lad and QJ. I think Keenan has just been kind of running pure. He's catching touchdowns and making big plays. I think he's probably the guy to most likely taper off as the season goes on. That McConkey punt return was awesome. I wish that would have stood, but
I wish it would have stood too.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. Him
would have been nice for my teams. I had more McConkey than literally probably any receiver on the slate.
When he hurdled that punter.
Yeah, that was sick. It was sick. How do you do that?
The first thing that came to my mind was when Antonio Brown hurdled the punter on Cleveland and kicked him in the face. You remember that?
Is it who? Oh yeah. When he like completely he like cleared this guy by 2 feet.
Oh yeah, it was he cleared him easily.
McConkey did. Antonio just like booted him in the face, but
yeah, that was here. I just found it.
I didn't know that was the punter though. Well, I didn't know that McConkey hurdled the punter. Yeah. McConkey's was sick though. Like he's literally 2 feet over the guy.
Oh yeah, he cleared him easily, and then he did the little curtain call bow. That was pretty classy. But yeah, as soon as I saw him go to hurdle the punter, I was like, oh God, don't kick him in the face like Antonio Brown did. That was hilarious. But you said Herbert was your second favorite quarterback. Who is your favorite, and is that someone that you're stacking?
I'm going to Drake May in the Coors Field of the NFL. I feel like that's what every guy says. All the tout language. Coors Field of the NFL. I love Drake May this week. Probably going to be overweight significantly based on what I'm seeing right now, which is good. I'm excited for that. His receivers, we could go right back to Steph Diggs. Steph Diggs had his coming out party on Sunday Night Football. This could be, I wonder too, if this ends up being a game where the Patriots are trailing. Like, it could be a trap game for the Pats. So, like, I think that's better for that stack. My favorite play with May, it's not Diggs. It would be Hunter Henry. I think Hunter Henry's the easy stack with May, and that's who I'm going to go to. I don't know about May doubles currently. Like, yeah, I guess it's fine with Diggs and Henry. I'm trying to think if there's other receivers I really want to play. Not really. Just more Diggs, Henry, and that's it. And May. And yeah, give me all the May. I like May this week.
Yeah, I like that call. Saints defense has been bad. I agree with you. I think if it is a trap spot for the Patriots, that's even better. Keep the game closer. I mean, even if they're down, keep them throwing. Hunter Henry, I think, would be my second favorite stacking option behind Diggs. But you guys might have seen it, but we had the Ramondre Stevenson graphic on Twitter today. I didn't approve that. I know that's triggering for a lot of people, including myself, who have been backing TreVeyon Henderson all year. What about these running backs? Because with Antonio Gibson out of the equation, it's vacating, a third of touches and snaps. I mean, Gibson was playing way more than I expected coming into the year. Henderson obviously playing way less. Stevenson fumbled again last week, and they still got him 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, is this guy just immortal in this offense? Like, both of these guys have shown receiving upside. Would you stack either of the running backs with May?
He's not immortal. I just think Vrabel doesn't want to, like, the next time he fumbles, he's seeing the bench. I think that he doesn't want to make a call based on a previous administration. So, like, yeah, he had fumbling issues last year, but that wasn't under Vrabel. He's shown fumbling issues. He's giving him a little bit of a leash, and the next time he does, I think he's going to the bench. Now, the leash might be extended because Antonio Gibson is now he's not on the roster, right? He tore his ACL or whatever. Yeah. So he might have a little bit more of a leash. I lean Henderson over Ramondre. Now I'm going to start trying to get in front of this situation. If Ramondre is popular, like, I'll just lean more the Henderson side. If I just think I like Henderson better, and I haven't really been trying to force him, so now I can try, I guess. But for me, Hunter Henry's still like my main stacking option with May, and then Diggs, and yeah, followed by TreVeyon. That's where I'm kind of looking. That's how I'd rank them.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting because when you think about Henderson and where they drafted him and how excited they were about him, the fumbling, I agree. Like, Vrabel probably doesn't want to punish him for things that didn't happen underneath him, but it's also a data thing, right? Like, when you're consistently fumbling over the course of your career, and it's a known problem coming into the season, and it's something that, I mean, even before his first fumble, they were talking about it. And then he fumbled twice a few weeks ago, one on the goal line, fumbled again last week. They've had every opportunity to expand Henderson's role, and they've had reasons to do so, and they really haven't. So if you don't see it this week, you got to be really concerned about TreVeyon Henderson. I do think, though, now this opens up a natural path to him being at least a third down back. Don't know if that's a great spot this week for him, because if the Patriots, they're favored on the road. So if this is a spot where, again, they do fall behind, Henderson could be a good game script play. But I think you probably need to feel pretty good about them being in a trailing script to feel really good about stacking him with May. But what do you think?
I think this has trap game written all over it.
So
I think they could be trailing. So, like, that's another reason that just boosts the stack for me.
Yeah, 100%.
He has in May. The other thing is May's rushing equity is like, if you're making the comparison between Herbert and May, if the field's going to Herbert, I still think May has the same intangibles that Herbert has. Not saying he's Justin Herbert, but I'm saying that he basically can get you there with his legs and his arm. And if he's going to be less owned, then yeah, just give me May.
Yeah, I think his rushing upside is certainly intriguing. I think for running back or for quarterbacks who run more, and I'm like kind of hoping for that rushing upside, it does make me less likely to want to double stack. But you have great options here, especially with Diggs seemingly now getting more acclimated, more worked in to the offense. Don Easy hitting us with some news. Chuba Hubbard or as some like to call him around the industry, Chuba Hubbard. That was a funny thing going around yesterday. But Chuba Hubbard officially out. We had him ruled out, or we removed him from projections yesterday or 2 days ago. So that is updated in the projections. And that's a nice little segue. Noto's asking, can we get a Bryce Tet ceiling game one time? I mean, if this was going to be something that we're looking for, this doesn't get better than this here against Dallas.
I mean, Ted has to be a good play this week, right?
I mean, Ted's been a great play every week.
Yeah.
He just hasn't really, popped yet. He had the one somewhat big game against Arizona where he had that big catch, but still haven't gotten him in the end zone. I mean, Carolina's offense has looked a little bit worse than I kind of expected, but I mean, if there is a defense that can make you look good, it is Dallas. So yeah, I think it's a great spot for him here. It does sound like the offense is getting a bit healthier outside of Hubbard. Sanders is going to likely return. Obviously, Leggett came back last week, made that nice touchdown grab. But so, I mean, volume-wise, maybe there have been better spots this year, but matchup-wise, it does not get better than Dallas. They have been absolutely putrid. So,
do we think a lot of people are going to try to go to the Ted Bryce stack? I'm just wondering.
I don't think people will play Bryce. I mean, maybe because he's so cheap. I mean, he's sub 5. Maybe they'll play him because of price, but I don't think people are going to play Bryce Young too much. But I do think people will play Tet. But I mean, at 50%,
what's Tet's ownership?
We have him at 15.5%, which I don't think is too much to where it would scare me.
Yeah, it's not too much.
So, yeah, I think let me check and see where his props are real quick. But yeah, I mean, we've just seen guys crush over and over again in that spot. So, yeah, do you think this is finally the game where he has the coming out party?
Really, it just depends on ownership for me on the stack. Like if they're gonna if Bryce Young is gonna what's Bryce's ownership currently? I'll just pull it up and
we actually have it at 7%, which is more than I would have guessed. 7%, but that's also probably just projecting what he's just projecting. Okay, because the price
versus Dallas and just the Tet narrative, and he comes in at 10, and then you're kicking yourself for playing it.
I would guess he comes in lower than that. I think this is a spot where the model is not factoring in the name. I just don't think people are going to want to click Bryce Young. I think people are going to play the Dak side and then use Tet as a bring back. So I think the model is probably actually giving Bryce Young.
Yeah, but you also have chalk. So my argument against that would be you have chalk Rico Dowdle too.
Yeah.
So people might just try to play, and instead of playing Rico, I'll just play Bryce with Tet. Or if I want to differentiate my Rico teams, I can add Bryce and Tet. And then all of a sudden, you flip the cards over and Bryce Young's above 10%. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's obviously a great matchup versus Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see
4,800 too. That's a cheap stack. 48. I think Bryce Young's going to be higher owned than what we're expecting currently.
So you're taking the over 7?
Yeah, because he's 4,800. 2 of his pieces are in really good spots. I would imagine both pieces are going to be chalky, so that's just going to increase. At least in higher stake stuff, I feel like more people do this. Is they'll just play the quarterback with the 2 chalky pieces, and
yeah. I mean, I think what you're saying is all the reasons why Bryce Young is a decent tournament play. I just don't think the field is going to get there. I think what you're saying is, okay, Rico is popular. Bryce Young makes sense as a pivot. I don't think people are going to do that much. I think what they'll do as a pivot is either just play Tet with the Dak Prescott stack, or they'll use other quarterbacks with Tet. And I just think Rico's just going to be played at a high clip, and I don't think anybody's going to play Bryce with Rico. So that's why I would take the under on the 7 or 7.5, I guess, to make it even. But
so I would just say this is, what's Puka? 8,700. What's CMC? I would imagine people want to get to CMC 8,400. I can probably get those 2 guys in a build if I play Bryce Young versus Dallas. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think
so I'm starting to think maybe he does get steamed up, and then at that point, do I want to play him? And I don't know.
Yeah, I think the more I look
We'll know more on Sunday. Chalky. Maybe I'm totally wrong thinking that. I feel like you think he's not going to be highly owned.
No, I don't think he'll get to. I don't think he'll be over.
I feel like I'm probably just maybe I'm just seeing it the wrong way.
I mean, I have no problem if in my personal builds I get more because, like, I do think
you're one person, you're a sharp guy, right? And then like another sharp guy's going to think the same thing, and then all of a sudden he's 10%. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's fair. I mean, I certainly think it depends on the field. Like, I think it'll vary based on buy-in and how many entries. Like if it's 3 max or 150. But I think the more we talk about it, this game's gonna be popular because we also have Ryan Flournoy projecting really well. So I haven't looked.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the former third string, or I guess like fourth string
tight end for Dallas
receiver. But he had a big game last week. He went over 100 yards.
Wait a minute, whoa! Isn't Ferguson playing?
Ferguson is playing, yeah, but CeeDee Lamb out, Kevontae Turpin likely out as well.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm seeing Ferguson. Where's our ownership on Ferguson? We have great ownership, by the way, guys. Just letting everyone know.
Ferguson, we have as
great ownership projections for
tight end. Tight end's a little unique this week because we don't have official Brock Bowers news yet. Sounds like he's doubtful. Even the books were kind of projecting him out. So Michael Mayer could get some steam, but we have Ferguson as the third highest projected tight end ownership wise, 15.5%. So yeah, this game is just going to be super chalky. I mean, we're talking four guys who have non-quarterbacks that are 15% or higher, and they all might be higher than 20% in certain contests. Like Pickens at 21%, he'll be higher than that in smaller field stuff.
So can we just say that Bryce is probably going to be steamed up? Or do you think that he's like the one piece that's not going to be steamed up? That salary and getting up to, I know people in higher stake stuff are just going to try to get to Puka and McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And like 4,800, and then you get this game environment.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely convincing me. That's for sure. I mean, I already was thinking he was a good play, but ownership wise, I didn't want to think that he was gonna necessarily get there because you also have Trevor Lawrence right there in that price range that I think will get some love.
I kind of like Lawrence.
Yeah. So, and I just think that I'm just so set on Dak being popular and Rico being popular, and when those are the two cases, it seems hard for Bryce Young to get steamed. So that's maybe I'm just too set in that thought, but I mean, I certainly think Bryce Young makes for a decent play, especially you can get all those good plays that we talked about in that game and then just flip the script on the quarterback. And, if Bryce comes even close to Dak, that's a winner right there. Don Yeezy coming with a hot take here. Judkins over Rico.
I think they're both fun, right?
Yeah, they're both certainly good plays. I mean, Judkins has proven me wrong because I thought he would be a little bit of a game script proof running back. But I mean, this guy's just been hyper efficient to where he's breaking game scripts himself.
What about the other side of Rico and playing Javonte at 64? Like, I know that was around what his price, but maybe his price came down from last week. Was he 6,500 last week? And I think he was on the winner. People just didn't. He was kind of in that no man's land in pricing where.
Yeah, I can't remember his price, but he was pretty close.
I don't mind Rico or Judkins, and then I don't mind Javonte at 6,400 on the other side.
6,200 last week.
62. Okay, so you count 200. Like, I'm still fine with playing Javonte.
Yeah, I mean, Javonte I think is a smash. I don't typically get.
Is he chalky? Rico's chalky.
Looks like we have Javonte 14%. So kind of in no man's land. He's easily one of those guys that can go either way. It's kind of like the dead zone for best ball for these running backs. Like you have the guys who are going to be popular. Rico, JT, McCaffrey, depending on build. I think Genty could get some love. And then after that, it's like I'm sure a couple of these guys will get love from the field, and then a few of these guys will taper off. But Javonte Williams, I don't know if you are aware, but it is a hometown game for him. He's apparently from the Charlotte area. He went to North Carolina, so that makes sense. But yeah, shout out to the Narrative Street Twitter, because we I'll pull that up. Javonte will have a whole section with friends and family. So he got 50 text messages for tickets. I mean, Javonte doesn't even need narratives anymore. This guy has just been absolutely balling out, and his volume has been incredible. Smash matchup too. But yeah, I love Javonte this week. I think he's a great play.
Yeah, I like Javonte too. I wonder if this like mid-range can beat McCaffrey. If you just kind of load up in the mid-range and not get up to McCaffrey. Because I don't think I would play both McCaffrey and Puka, and I think I like Puka better than McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Genty this week. I think Genty is a guy who is maybe a product of being more owned because our model is higher on him. Obviously, I have a hand in the projection being a bit higher on Genty than across the industry a little bit. So I do like Genty. I mean, it's a great matchup for him.
I usually aggregate and look, but I haven't had the time. So you like Genty?
Yeah. Yeah, I like him quite a bit. Obviously, he's coming off.
What do you have for a projection on Genty?
We have him 18.2, which I think is even going to come up in our. I bumped him up a little bit this morning, so that's probably going to come up in our next update. So, yeah, I think Genty is a guy who I like quite a bit. Great matchup against Tennessee. Tennessee's just been a sieve against the run so far this season. Judkins here at 6K-ish. Derrick Henry at 6.2. I mean, he's seemingly a tough click. I think he'll probably. Henry, right? What's that?
It's very cheap for Henry.
Yeah, the quarterback situation is up in the air. Sounds like they might go with Snoop Huntley after Cooper Rush got the start last week. They brought Cooper Rush in for this season, which was kind of strange because they typically had always had mobile quarterbacks behind Lamar, and they brought in Cooper Rush, who is in fact not mobile. Did go to the same college as me though, so shout out Cooper Rush. But yeah, that offense looked pretty bad last week.
They're so begging you to take Henry at this price, 6,200.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that Henry will get to 16%. What do you think? I think the field.
I don't think so at all either, because they're not. He's very game script dependent, and
yeah.
I mean, what are they? They're over a touchdown underdogs at this point, right? Like,
yeah, I think it's 7. I think it's 7.5. Yeah.
Oh, 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I like the Judkins call from Yeezy.
Yeah.
That's where I'd kind of just getting a ton of work. Yeah, I don't mind Judkins. Seems like he's gonna be the cornerstone of that offense for the next 5 to 10 years. So
yeah, he looks a lot better than I thought he was gonna look. He was pretty good at Ohio State, but his second year at Ole Miss, he was bad. So I thought
I would say this: he is slow. Like, he isn't fast. He isn't. That's the one thing that irritates me. Is like, yeah, if I get over the feel on him, I don't think he's a guy that can really break a long run. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that. I haven't really watched him play a ton. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll see it, but the volume's been really good. They've had no issue just ignoring all the other running backs in that backfield. Back-to-back weeks, 115 plus total yards. Haven't seen like a ton out of the passing game yet for him, but Dylan Gabriel also looked better than I thought last week. I thought he was going to have a tough time. I didn't think that they were going to even be in that game. So if Dylan Gabriel was able to, quarterback that offense,
that was the England game last week, right?
Yeah, London. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen like highlights. But how did Gabriel look? Good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he threw 3 touchdowns. I think he barely threw for 200 yards, or maybe even just below that. So it's not like he had a great game, but better than I thought. Obviously, that's a tough matchup going overseas to play the Vikings, who have, pretty widely known as the most confusing defensive scheme. So yeah, he looked pretty good. Just for, I guess, comparison, player profile, his best player comp for Judkins is Nick Chubb, which I think makes sense. Like you mentioned, not necessarily the fastest guy in the world. 4.5.
But Chubb runs away from people. I don't think he has that gear to run away. Chubb in his prime ran away from people, I should say.
Yeah, this player profile does give him a 94th percentile burst score. So maybe
really? So I don't know.
Maybe we haven't seen him in the open field yet.
Yeah.
But I think that pretty much covers the chalk guys at running back. I'll throw out a couple names for pivots, and then I'll let you get some time to maybe throw some.
I have my guys that I'm.
All right, let's go.
Talk about everyone who I'm interested in. Give me the chalk that you like, but
I mean, I do really like Rico. I know like he's the chalk of all chalk coming off of a 200-yard game, biggest game.
I'm with you on Rico.
So it's like I do think you probably just play him. Other chalk. I mean, I think JT is a good play here, even though I don't think the matchup is ideal. Arizona's defense has been good, and then if Genty is chalky, he'll be amongst my favorite as well. But the one guy I wanted to talk about, Rachaad White, we project him a little bit lower than some of the field. We sell him at 15% projected ownership. I think he could get higher than that. Obviously, he found the end zone twice last week, but he was a typical Rachaad White. Like, he wasn't super efficient, right? He had, I think, 15 carries for like 40 yards, so a sub 3 yards per carry. He didn't really get a ton of work out of the back. I think he had 3 or 4 catches, so it was typical Rachaad White, right? He's touchdown dependent. He's going to need to catch passes. For that reason, we haven't projected lower. I think there is more receiving upside this week. But what are your thoughts on Rachaad White?
Yeah, out of the 3 you mentioned, I think I like Rachaad White the least.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because I think I could see myself getting to more like Javonte Williams or Quinshon Judkins in that range, but maybe that's like what the field's doing anyways. Genty would probably be my favorite, but I still think I'm going to be under on him, followed by Taylor. The 3 of them I'm probably going to be under on, I would imagine.
Yeah, I do think I think at the end of the day, our ownership will have Rachaad White higher than Judkins. And I think Rachaad White will probably even be the second most popular projected running back in our ownership model, I would say, or maybe third. But I think he'll be up there. And I think he might be a fade for me, or at least consider some pivots in that range. But I did want to talk about a couple low-owned guys before we get to receiver. So like 10%, sub 10% guys, I'll throw out a couple names, and I'll let you either tell me that those plays suck or give me a couple names that you're interested in.
I know as much as you, but I don't know. What are the plays?
So Chase Brown is 8.5% projected ownership. I think he'll come in lower than that. I like Chase Brown this week.
Oh my God. Not a chance. I will not do it.
I mean,
I will not do it.
Let me make the pitch, and then you can tell me I'm either delirious or
there's no chance. Maybe if Sunday they're playing the Packers, dude. No.
But okay, so hear me out, right? Chase Brown last year when he was good, it was not really because of his rushing upside. It was because of his receiving upside. This is the nut spot for receiving for a running back. At least for him. He's they're 14.5 underdogs. You do have to worry about that. Like, you can't let the game get too far away from him because then he could get benched. They only have a 15 implied team total, so he's probably not going to score a touchdown. Yes, these are all bad things, but they're going to be throwing a lot. They have Joe Flacco under center this week. In the first 4 weeks, Joe Flacco threw to a running back 34 times. That's like a just under, that's like an 8.5 target per game to running backs. Chase Brown's the only running back playing. So if you're going to get 7 or 8 targets for Chase Brown, obviously that's, a loose implication. Let's say you get 6, 7 targets for Chase Brown. He's going to catch 5 or 6 of them at the least. Green Bay is allowing the second most targets and receptions per game to opposing running backs this season. I think Chase Brown is upside to catch like 5, 6 plus balls here. I bet his over 20.5 receiving yards. I'll be laddering it up to like 50 or 60 yards. I'm going to take a look at the numbers after the show. I think it's a smash spot for receiving volume for Chase Brown. So that's my pitch for Chase Brown. I know he's not as good of a play as these other guys, and I know he has the upside to really suck, but
I think I would leave it more for like large field stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think like him and Henry would probably fit like the large field mode plays. I don't think I'd play them in small field.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I think he has the upside to score 7 points, but if the receiving work is there, like I think it could be, And we know Chase Brown's an explosive player. We haven't seen it this year because his offensive line is brutal. So you don't even want him running the ball. You want him just catching passes. So if that's going to be the case, I think he has more big play upside as a pass catcher. So my hot take of the week would be Chase Brown over Rachaad White. That's my hot take of the week.
I'm Rachaad White over Chase Brown, but
I think
I don't know. I get it. Like I get it for sure. Get it.
I think optimally Rachaad White is the better play, but
you're taking
for a hot take, bold take, taking Chase Brown over him.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, Matt does bring up a good point. Gibbs versus Green Bay week 1, 10 reception, making that stat look better, 100%. But what is the difference between that spot and Chase Brown here? Flacco throws to running backs more than Jared Goff does. Green Bay is clearly funneling balls to running backs out of the backfield. So, I mean, Matt does bring up a good point. That stat might be a little bit noisy because of that week 1, but there's no real reason why Chase Brown can also benefit from that game script. But, yeah, Matt, if you can look up the rest of the running backs, that'd be great. Let me know. Drop the numbers in there. Do you have any running backs that you like that we haven't talked about yet?
I think the main ones that I'm just going to be overweight on is probably Dowdle. We haven't talked about Kyren Williams. 6,300 for Kyren. The spread is a big indicator. I know Matt poo-pooed spreads, but I don't know, 7 points, touchdown spread. Kyren can be very game script dependent. 6,300 for him, I think, is fine. We hit on Javonte and Judkins. Those are probably my 4 running backs that I think have the most interest in it. And I'll be playing these other guys, but I don't know. No one that I absolutely love. Maybe I know this sounds crazy, but I'm probably going to play a little Derrick Henry. It would be in large field stuff. He's going to hit my small field teams, but yeah, I'm just going to take my shot just because all those plays that are 6K to 6'4", and Derrick Henry's at 6'2", and I don't think he's going to be played. So, take a shot there. I'd prefer him, I think, to Chase Brown for the 600 more or whatever.
Yeah, I think.
But I guess 600 is a lot, so yeah, it's not really a good comparison.
No, I think
I prefer him to Rachaad White, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
I
just think he has the most ceiling. A lot of these running backs that we talked about don't, to me, they just don't have. Obviously Dowdle showed a ceiling, but he's going to be the chalkiest running back on the slate. They don't have a ton of ceiling. Then you have Henry there, and he's in that pricing range, and I feel like he has more an actual 99 percentile ceiling than all of these other players. So, yeah, I
think. Derrick Henry, I do think he would probably need to break a big one because I don't think that offense is going to sustain a ton of drives. But if we're talking about a running back who's capable of doing that, is Derrick Henry first on the list of guys who can break a long run on this slate? I think he might be. So yeah, I like that. I like that call. I think that's a good tournament play. Let's hop over to receivers. We talked a good amount about some of this chalk already. We talked about Puka. He's going to be chalk on every slate until the end of time because that guy is unbelievable. Pickens is going to be chalk. Olave looks to be chalk. And I do think 1 or 2 of these Chargers guys will end up chalk. Stephon Diggs, you touched on already. So a lot of these guys we've already touched on. Any receivers sticking out to you as guys that we didn't touch on that might be a little bit lower owned that you like?
Well, my third favorite stack, we didn't get into it. I know we talked about Bryce Young and Tet, but for 200 more, I can get to Lawrence and then Brian Thomas. For 400 more is just in terms of total salary. I think Thomas is 200 more than Ted, and Lawrence is 200 more, I think, than Bryce. And yeah, Brian Thomas and Lawrence. He isn't someone I love to play, but he had a good game the other night. He used his legs. I think their offense is kind of getting to the point where right under Liam Cohen. They're getting more comfortable, and I could just see that I like taking a shot on this offense, so that would probably be my favorite. Maybe Brian Thomas are probably up there relative to most. I guess DK Metcalf's another one with Rodgers I like. I like Downs at 4-3. We didn't talk about him. I don't know how much I like Daniel Jones. Like, he'd probably be my sixth quarterback in if I'm doing stuff, but I like Downs. I like Pittman. Yeah.
Yeah, we did just get a report. Alec Pierce 10 minutes ago will play. So I'm sure that doesn't change things too much, but I like the T-Law call. I will say, would love to get some ownership or some injury updates on the Seahawks secondary. Obviously, Love and Witherspoon have missed the last couple games. Sounds like Witherspoon's back. Love is questionable, but Tariq Woolen, who I believe he was rookie last year or 2 years ago and had that amazing rookie season. He got hurt last game, didn't return. He's questionable as well. So if two of those guys are out again, I know Witherspoon is their best secondary player. He's going to be back, it sounds like. But nonetheless, if two of those guys are out, I think the spot only gets better. I think that's going to be a great real life game for sure. For me, I think some low owned receivers. I mean, if JSN is going to be this low owned at 11%, I'll be all over that. I mean, his projection probably needs to come up for us. I'll probably take a look at that after the show as well. But his volume has just been amazing, especially in a game where it might be a little bit more pass heavy because of the game flow, and he's only going to see more volume that way. Dan asks, what do we think about Waddle and Dobbs? I mean, Waddle is coming off of a great game, right? He looked like his rookie year, Jalen Waddle, with volume and the big play down the field. It is a tough matchup. Chargers secondary, maybe one of the better ones, top to bottom. Like they just don't really have any weak spots in their secondary. But Miami's going to throw a lot. They can't run the ball. I don't know if you saw it last week, that what they did on the ground against Carolina. Carolina's been just putrid against the run all year. They had like 20 rushing yards with their running backs. It was horrible. So they're going to have to throw. What do you think of Waddle and Dobbs?
Probably getting off on Waddle.
You don't like him?
It's not that I don't like him. I just feel like
I just went this week, yeah.
Like as a one-off, I don't know, it feels chasey to me, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then on the Dobbs side, like they have so many different receivers. The spread indicates that they're going to be probably winning the game. So, like, for a guy like Dobbs who has no ceiling as it is, to hit his ceiling to me is probably pretty unlikely. So, not that I don't think he's a good play, but just someone I'm just not really interested in currently.
Yeah, I think Dobbs is super touchdown dependent, and obviously last week or 2 weeks ago they were on bye last week. But
when I play him, I never get the touchdown either.
Yeah, I will say he looks like he has that role where, I mean, I certainly don't want to compare him to Devontae Adams, but that role where they would just run the slant route on the 1 yard line, that's Dobbs. So I mean, if they're going to get to the 1 and it's not going to be a Jacobs touchdown, they do that little slant route with Dobbs all the time on like inside the 5. So that helps. But yeah, he's certainly going to be touchdown dependent. And to your point, where they're likely going to be ahead by a lot, he probably needs to score early in the game. But they do have a 29.5 implied team total. So if they're going to score early in the game, he could certainly benefit from that. I don't mind Dobbs, but I do think there's probably higher upside guys to chase. I think I would prefer Waddle over Dobbs a good amount. So if you're stacking the Chargers, which we've talked about liking, is Waddle a bring back option for you? Do you prefer Achane? What are you thinking there?
I don't know. Who would be my favorite? I don't know. I guess I don't even think you need to run it back. Like, I know it's condensed though, so you probably want to run it back.
Yeah. I think for me it'd probably be Achane ideally, but I know that there's some
Yeah, I think it's Achane for me too. Definitely
price-wise.
Achane.
Yeah.
What about the rapper?
Oh, Darren Waller?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not interested in Waller, but actually, you know what? I can play some Waller. What's his price? 4K.
4K, yeah.
I don't mind. I don't mind the rapper. He's good.
Yeah,
I'll get to him.
I mean, he's going to be the red zone.
Waddle. I think Achane's my favorite, but I like from a leverage standpoint. Like I think I'm probably going to be over on Darren Waller. Achane, like I'll have more, but I'm going to be like at the field, and then Waddle I'm not playing. So this is all speculative too. Like everything's going to change come Sunday, but as of right now,
yeah. Obviously, it's still early Friday. Make sure you guys are tuning in Sunday morning, right? 9:30, the People Show. You'll be there, right? Yeah. So make sure you guys are tuning into that for Bobby's final takes, and obviously he's got his tagged plays as well, which he will likely update throughout the weekend if anything changes. So make sure you guys are staying tuned to that. But yeah, real quick on Waller. He obviously had a big game last week. Ran 27 routes. I think you can make the case that he's going to continue to play more, which is interesting because obviously he missed the first 4 games with the, I believe it was a hip that was bothering him. He's going to be the red zone guy. That is for sure. They don't have anybody else that like fits the bill for being a red zone guy. 5 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. So I think you can make a case that lineup construction wise, Waller might be the best run back in this stack because then you're not sacrificing that opportunity, that's such a massive opportunity cost spot with Achane. If you don't like Achane, I mean, obviously if you like him, you can play him there. But if you do that, it's probably difficult to also play CMC. And then Waddle's at 6'1" or 6'2" now, whatever he is. He's a little bit more expensive. So Matt Smith says Flower Boy feels chasey. I would agree that is likely.
Who is chasey. Flower Boy?
Ryan Flournoy.
Flournoy?
Yeah. Who that Dallas backup receiver.
He's going to be chalky, right?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe a little. I would agree. If he's chalky, that's a good spot to get off of. But they seem to really want to get him involved in the offense because he did not play a lot last week. He only played like 21 snaps and he had like 10 or 11 targets on those snaps. Obviously, George Pickens was getting locked up by Sauce Gardner for a good chunk of that game, so that helped. But I would agree. He certainly is chasey, but if he's going to be sub 5%, I think, or even sub 10%, I still think he's a good value play. But all right. Anything you want to talk about at tight end? McBride, Warren, Ferguson, Mayer. Those are going to be the chalky options. Anything else you want to add at tight end?
Yeah, Jonnu Smith, I think, is pretty good at 3,200.
Okay.
Like, what's going on with Fannin? Are we just off the Fannin train? No one's going to Fannin now? Like the rookie to the rookie. I like both tight ends in that game. Is Freiermuth out?
I don't think so. But let me confirm. Let me see. I don't think so though. No, not that I know of.
Yeah, 3,200 is fine for Jonnu Smith. I don't mind like him and Metcalf from the Pittsburgh pass catching side, and I don't know. Everyone seems to like have stopped talking about Harold Fannin, so maybe it's time.
Yeah, Fannin.
Speaking of a guy everyone's talking about, Darren Waller. I think I'm playing. Yeah. From there, like I don't know, Kraft, Barner, Hunter Henry. I think is the best play. Like I don't know, a bunch of different guys. How about you? Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean it's going to come down to stacks mostly, and I'm curious to see where this ownership settles in because we have so much condensed ownership here in like that 5K range. Ferguson, Warren, McBride, all 4.9 to 5.5, and all projecting for 15% ownership. I just don't think it likely shakes out that way. So I think that'll change. So like if one of these guys falls in terms of ownership, I don't think it'll be Ferguson. I think Ferguson's going to be very popular. I think he's a great play, but I think he's going to be popular. If Warren kind of gets reverse steamed, I'm sure there's a different term that DFS Twitter created for that. I would like him quite a bit at 4.9. McBride at 5.5 does feel cheap. Michael Mayer, if Brock Bowers, when he's officially ruled out, I think it does make some sense as a value option. Noto's got Hunter Long tagged, I believe. Yeah, Hunter Long with no Brenton Strange could benefit there. He's certainly shown some pass catching upside in the past, so I don't mind him. But after that, I think it's going to come down to lineup construction quite a bit and like who I'm stacking and whatnot. But I do think that Fannin could be interesting. He, again, probably touchdown dependent. His routes have sort of steadily decreased. Week 1, he ran 35 routes. Last week, only 18 routes, but he played 55 snaps. So they kept him in the block a lot. 26 blocking snaps or more in each of the last 2 weeks. That's concerning for Fannin. But if he finds the end zone and you're stacking that game or whatever, I don't think there's many people stacking that game, but Fannin could pay off that 3-4. I think there's other guys that prefer in that range though.
Yeah.
But all right. We are at the hour mark. Anything else you want to touch on or give out before we head out?
Not really. Like I don't have like a ton of like strong takes because I feel like it's like a first look almost. Drake May is my quarterback of the week. Like I'm gonna try to slam Drake May. I tagged Stafford too. We didn't really go into Stafford too much, but people are gonna play Puka. Like Stafford's gonna be low owned.
Yeah,
I can play some Stafford. I don't mind Stafford. The other thing is like he's kind of. I feel like more people are gonna be paying. Actually, no. People are probably gonna be paying around the Herbert range. So Stafford's an interesting pivot there. May's my favorite. May 5-9. Give me all the May. May's gonna win the Millie again this week.
Yeah, I think if you play Stafford, you definitely need bringbacks, or at least one. So that could be a good low owned stack for you. Like if you are on Derrick Henry, like play your Derrick Henry with your Matthew Stafford, because Stafford's not paying off that price tag unless he throws 3+ touchdowns, which he's done each of the last 2 weeks, I believe. I don't know if he did it on Thursday night, but he certainly did it 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I think the Henry Stafford correlation is super interesting in the slate, just because of where people's salaries are that are going to be chalky.
Yeah.
And like you're getting in Puka's like a center, like a core construction piece. So
yeah. So
people are not going to play Puka. Like if you're adding Stafford and then Henry, people probably aren't enough.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's something that doesn't really get talked about enough. Like when you are playing like your hot take plays, like if you want to get over on Stafford and you also want to get over on Derrick Henry, like it just makes all the sense in the world to play those guys together, because if they flop, you're not killing multiple lineups. You're killing just the one, and they correlate really well in my opinion. Matt's talking about weather. I have not looked at weather yet. This one for this week.
Is there weather this week? There must be. It's getting cold here.
Yeah, it's
freezing up here.
Yeah, it's like 80 the last like 2 weeks. Now all of a sudden it's like 55, 60, which I don't mind. I kind of like the fall weather. But let me see what
someone likes my Lawrence stack. R&R Investments likes Lawrence.
Yep. Hey, he's
we need to wait in the corners though, right? We don't have that info.
Yeah, it sounds like Love and Woolen are still questionable, but we will see how that shakes out. Yeah, it looks like Roth says most interesting game because it has both the highest wins of the week and the best chance for rain in this Rams-Baltimore game. If we trust models this far out on specifics, he says he does not, but we can pretend. We'll be dealing with a steady and eventually soaking light to moderate rain, winds around 15 miles per hour, gusts over 25, occasionally pushing to 30 miles per hour. Wind and rain combo is a bump down to the passing attack. So
maybe you don't like Stafford. You got to see what the line does, really.
Yeah, and again,
if I see like a change in the line, then I won't play it. But for now, just leave it.
Yeah, and again, he even mentions he doesn't necessarily trust the systems and the models he looks at weather-wise this far out. So again, check back Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, before we get out of here, I do have a couple of props I'll give out. I already talked about this guy quite a bit. Chase Brown, over 20.5 receiving yards. I'll be adding a ladder to this. I have to look and try to find the best number. Whenever I'm laddering, it takes me a while because you got to look through 19 different books to find the best alt line number. That's where you do not want to miss out on any value whatsoever. Second pick, Isaiah Pacheco under 34.5 rushing yards. I think the dog days are here for Isaiah Pacheco. Rashad Smith getting more involved, Kareem Hunt getting more involved. I think they're going to be passing a lot this week with the Lions missing Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed. And I think the Lions win this game in Kansas City. So I think the Chiefs will be throwing quite a bit. So I'm taking the under on Isaiah Pacheco rushing yards. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in. We had a lot of participation in the chat today, which was nice. We didn't get Alexander the Great in here to give you your flowers. So next time I see him in Discord, I'll let him know that you are looking for him.
I'm looking for him, yeah.
Yeah. But all right, Bobby, good luck this week. If anybody's doing any gambling on college football or baseball tonight, good luck. Looks like we do have a couple of prop model plays for tonight's games in the scores and odds package and in the baseball package. So again, highly recommend checking those out. That's going to do it for us. We will see you guys next time.